What's up, guys? I'm Evelyn, and welcome to For a Reason podcast, where I discuss the ways I navigate through entrepreneurship, fitness, life itself, and how everything happens for a reason.
Hi guys, welcome back to For a Reason podcast. Today is episode 10, and I'm so excited because, that means 10 times I showed up for myself, 10 times that I didn't listen to the excuses, and I did what I said I would. And it's so crazy because I could be just with an idea still, but now I'm at the 10th episode. And guys, I said on the first episode that I would have a guest on the 10th episode, and she's here. Guys, she is talented, goal-oriented, I want to say upcoming fitness influencer.
Oh, girl.
And she has a contagious laugh. And she's a good friend of mine, Sarah Hermosillo.
Hey, yeah, I'm so excited to be on here. It's just so crazy. I was thinking about it on the drive here about the 10th episode, and I was like, wow, seeing from where you started and seeing from where you talked about starting this. So yeah. I'm really proud of you. And I'm honored.
Yeah, no, I'm for sure super excited to have you. And you've been supportive from the beginning.
Yeah.
When it was an idea,
Yeah,
so.
It's hard not to, especially with you, because I feel like you're very, supportive and you're a good friend. At any time, I would be going through something or somebody else, you're always having a non-biased opinion and very positive and supportive. So even how you talked about in your last episode or previous ones, how sometimes you feel like, wow, should I be doing this? Then you won't get to where you want to be if you don't start somewhere. So
yeah, well, crazy. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here to talk about you.
Oh, I mean, both of us.
You obviously, I think, I have you as a friend. And not just because, I met you through Matt or stuff like that, and I feel like, oh, this is something that I need to do, right? I genuinely do appreciate our friendship, because of the fact of who you are. You motivate me, and you've been working really hard, personally on your career and, physically with your whole thing with your fitness and all that kind of stuff. And so that's why I'm having you as a guest, because I feel like you really do fit the vibe for what this is about. Is just chase after, do it, be consistent, disciplined, and all that kind of stuff. So
especially having friends being supportive and all, things you're doing, or because I'm a little bit about me. I'm a graphic designer and I work at a marketing agency, my 9-to-5 job, and it's super cool and all, but for example, me and you, we have different professions and you're more business oriented, but something we have always connected with was food and fashion and fitness. We'll send each other recipes to make or DM each other cute outfits, workout outfits and things like that. So it's just really cool, how you're saying, having a friend, because a friend that has similar and common interests as you, and so in that way too, it's easier to uplift each other and motivate each other.
So I guess before, kind of icebreaker to get this going is, what comes to your mind when you hear everything happens for a reason, and has that ever related to you in your life, right, as of now?
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like I definitely grew up on that motto, that sense, the energy of that phrase, just because things happen in our lives, with relationships, with work, with anything, and it's easy to say oh, I'm a victim of this, or oh, this isn't going my way, especially when it's with the negatives. People tend to think, why is this happening to me? And I grew up knowing everything is a lesson that you are taught, and it's so funny because sometimes even the negative things that happen to you, they're for the positive, and therefore the greater future that the bigger picture that happens to you, whether, oh my gosh, I couldn't go to this event and because my car broke down, but oh, the weather actually ended up being really bad. So that's just one simple example of how things can manifest into that. Or wow, there was this falling out with a friend, but then you kind of find out they weren't going to have the best of intentions. So it's just not even the negatives like that, but just really everything I do believe happens for a reason. Like us meeting at the beginning, we would have never thought we would have been as good friends as we are now, or even back then we didn't even align with our interest as we do now. And so it's just really crazy and funny how everything has a way of working out. Like even when something negative happens or positive, it's just like, wow, like this is gonna work in my favor in the future, or it's teaching me something right now to help me become a better person.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's a good way to put it, because, you know, everyone that I have asked is, each person is different. Even though it has the same, like, motive or idea, you know, the way you're summarizing it is different. I haven't heard it that way, or at least I haven't, like, summarized it that way. But it's cool to know that you do have, and you relate in that way, too.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, like, it does eventually, you have to, like, kind of not, I guess, in a way, trial and error. You, like, figure it out, right? Like, in the moment when it's happening, you're kind of like, you know, I don't get it. Why me? What's happening? Why this? And then, eventually, you know, you get the reason. Like, why it's happening. But I feel like it for sure takes a couple times for you to really be like, okay, everything happens for a reason. And kind of, like, instead of seeing it as, like, the roadblock or a way to, like,
I mean,
keep you back.
even how you've talked about it is really good in your past episodes. Just noticing and taking a step back and seeing, okay, what do I need to learn from this? What is this teaching me? Or, like, sometimes things like that are an opportunity to be better at whatever the situation is. And so, yeah, I think it definitely helps taking a positive approach to it, because it's so easy to then be in a negative mood, and everyone's in charge of their emotions. And so nothing can make you sad or angry. Like, then you're the one in control. And why would anybody want to be, like, in a negative mindset when you can be happy and, just head on to what can I learn from this and grow from that. I think that's, like, what life's about, like, growing from your experiences.
For sure. And I think sometimes it's frustrating because not everybody, like, kind of grasps that idea. And then their life is a little bit more difficult than it should be. You know, because they're not, like, kind of, it's always, there's the people that they experience the negatives and then they're like, why me? And then they just continue down, like, a negative way, instead of seeing it on, like, oh, I'm gonna overcome this, it's gonna get better, kind of thing.
So it's cool having, like, people with the mindset that we have of sharing that knowledge and, you know, helping them see it from a different point of view. But sometimes too, it can go the other way where they need to realize it on their own. So you can just only make people aware, but sometimes they'll realize it for themselves and change those habits, because it's like you yourself that happens to you daily, different occasions, and you're the one that has to have that mindset shift of all of the positive side to it.
Since you're saying that with the mindset shift, were you always as positive as you are now, or was it something you, like, over time became?
I think it was more so over time. In a young part of my childhood, me and my sister and my mom, we lived in Sedona and all, and my mom delved into, like, a spiritual side of, because we grew up religious, and so then she didn't agree with that, and that's okay. People just have differences, or they're called to look into themselves in different ways. And so her looking into that kind of brought us along into, like, meditations and, like, self-healing work and things like that. And so that was really cool. So then I kind of did then through high school grow up on that, which was kind of nice, because that helped me not really go through, like, negativity, talk with myself a lot. Obviously everybody has different battles and different things they deal with in the day, and sometimes I don't have the best, like, body image days, for example, but I feel like I definitely always realized, like, okay, like, let's be positive about this, because it wouldn't help any situation being negative. So
no, yeah, exactly. I really like how you point that out, because and I kind of already have said this, is when something bad does happen, instead of kind of rolling with it and saying, oh, I'm gonna, you know, this isn't going to faze me, I'm going to be stronger than this. Some people don't take that route, and they play the victim, and they're kind of like, you know, just make it worse for them and for themselves in a way. So I really like
for
that
sure. And you kind of actually touched on this in your last episode that I was listening to, which is amazing, by the way. So if you haven't listened to the other ones, what are you doing? And it kind of also has to do with, like, manifestation. Because everything's connected and everything's like within your mind. And so then if something you're trying to, like, something positive is happening, or something is happening, and if you're looking at it in a positive way, then it shifts the energy of, like, how you deal with it and how, like, it comes back to you, versus if it's something negative, like, you could evolve it and make it worse, you know, things like that. So that's, I feel like, one of the keys of life, because people, like you're saying, won't know how to, like, deal with situations like that, or they keep having to be in a shitty relationship over and over because they're not learning and evolving or realizing they deserve better. So it's just really cool and interesting seeing how like you can apply these ways of thinking in a bunch of different of life's challenges. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah. And yeah, like you were saying. Okay, sorry, I'm having like a brain fart here.
You're fine. It'd be like that. That's me all day. It's Monday. Yeah, but with that, actually, you know, because one of the topics that I wanted to talk about when you asked me what could be like the main theme of this episode was health and fitness. And so that's something that growing up I didn't have. Growing up I had like a healthy childhood. I just wasn't encouraged to like play sports or things like that. My parents weren't like super active, but they were healthy and they fed me healthy and all. But yeah, that's something that really helped me starting my fitness journey 2 years ago was the positiveness to it, and just how you've talked about in the past in your podcast too, like the consistency to keep going. And if you talk down on yourself or people have goals. Like my goal was initially to lose weight, but if I was doing it from a sense of like, oh, so I'm like gonna have really bad nutrition and I'm gonna like make myself go to the gym even if I really don't want to, like sometimes doing something like that from like not a good start or not a good headspace doesn't have as good results as if you're doing it, you know, to better yourself and because you want to be healthy and you want to be able to lift more, run more. And so yeah, it's just really cool like seeing how, for example, that can be applied with that positive thinking and all of that.
Yeah, and that kind of makes me want to ask you a question of like, what did you say to yourself? Because we all know when we start setting a goal that we do kind of talk to ourselves in a way, right? Either to prepare ourselves mentally or to kind of like, you know, we just talk to ourselves. And so like, what kind of went through your mind, or what did you say to yourself when you were kind of like, that like thing sparked in you to where you're like, I need to do this?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I feel like when somebody starts something and they're so committed, it's because they've been thinking about it. It's because maybe they tried and it didn't work until it's like that last straw and it's like, I have nothing to lose, like I'm gonna do it. It's really interesting because I didn't really want to lean into fitness as much as I thought I would. I just wanted to start losing weight and seeing how far that could take me. I would get winded like going up the stairs, things like that I just saw as like not normal for, I think at the time I was 22, 23. And so also because of COVID, I just hadn't had like a healthy like workout routine growing up at all. Through college, I was quote unquote too busy. And so then COVID hit and I was working remote from home and I was eating whatever, whenever, because I wasn't even living like at my mom's anymore. So I kind of didn't really have a good nutritional value either. But yeah, I think I just realized one day, like, wow, nothing's gonna change unless I change something. And I knew that's what it was gonna take. And I just told myself, like, just start somewhere, see where it goes. Like, I was so scared, but I knew if I tried it and I started that, then from there, once trying it, I could see like, okay, you tried it, Sarah. Like, do you want to keep going and see where this goes? Or do you want to go to your old habits? But even though you're so uncomfortable somewhere new, it's so crazy because you're not ready for the experiences and you're being surprised every day, but somehow there's always people motivating you, whether it's in the gym, inside, like the people there, or it's your family and friends. Like, you talk about it, oh, I'm gonna do this, so then they say they want to be supportive of that.
Yeah, for sure. I remember when you like had messaged me about it and I was so excited, just because like fitness itself, whatever your goal is in it, but like being active in any way like that, it's just, especially me, I know that it feels so good mentally, and then too when you start seeing results and all that kind of stuff. So it's exciting for me when there's somebody who is starting it, just because there's so many emotions I know for sure that goes through my like head, is like, oh, I'm so excited for them, they're gonna like start something new that's really good for them, but I'm also like, I know they're probably so like
scared everywhere,
they're scared, they're nervous, anxiety's up because there's so much that goes into it. But it's just like, you just have to remember it is like a journey thing, and you have to make it a lifestyle, and I think you've done that for sure. Like, you made it into a lifestyle and not just like a quick fix or like a diet kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's funny because I actually thought that's how I was gonna start. Like, I never thought I'd be committed to going every day for the lifestyle, for the movement body, because it feels good. I thought, okay, let's see how long I need to like work out for to like burn these calories, to like lose this weight, and I never thought it'd become like a lifestyle after that. So it's really cool because that's something a lot of people don't understand when they get into it or into anything, and they'll say, oh, I want to start a diet, but then as we come to find out, it's not really for the diet. I mean, somebody can do a diet, but then it won't be sustainable long term. And so it's about those long-term goals that will help you be sustainable throughout your life and healthy habits overall. Like, it's not, oh yeah, I'm gonna eat salads all day for however long to be on my diet. It's just more like having that balance and eating enough protein and getting enough of all the nutrients. Because people will cut out carbs, and then we all eat carbs, so unless you're keto,
and the next you like starve, and then you go crazy.
It's not healthy. Then you binge. So that was actually kind of, I was thinking about that on the way here, about when I first messaged you. I think I messaged you and two other girls from like my college that I also would see super active on social media workout wise. So I was like, wow, like these girls, like I want to be the gym rat someday. I want to be like them and committed and like knowing what to do. And at first, starting in the gym is so scary because I feel like there's so many things. And so it's like, wow, like it's going to take me a while to like learn all this, like showing up and, you know, having that morning routine, but also knowing what to do in the gym. So I liked even before the last episode when you talked about your split, and you figuring that out must have been like a challenge. So.
Yeah, and it honestly constantly will change because then sometimes it's like, you know, what your goals are in the moment. Like, you know, do you want to build your back? Do you want to build your legs more? Like, are you focused on stuff? So it will change.
And that's the thing too. Every body is so different. Every body's so different that like if me and you ate the same and worked out the same, we're gonna look different because we have different genes. And so that too, there's no like end all be all for like routine for everybody. You really have to like adapt and see like what works for you, what foods are better digestible for you, or what you need to work on, different muscles, what like things just grow different. So it's just, I think it's cool finding out like that journey of it all.
No, for sure. And like, since you're bringing that up right now, what was your like game plan from the beginning? That, you know, you were like, this is how I'm gonna approach this way, like whoever's listening, if they do want to start, like what your kind of game plan, because I feel like for sure there's, you know, like we said, there's a lot of people who do start and they don't do it correctly, right? Because it's more of a quick fix. But like I said, I feel like you did have, like, I think you already knew because, you know, you were just kind of like, I need to have a healthy approach to this. It's a lifestyle. I want to change certain stuff, you know? So kind of like, what was your game plan to kind of that helped you get to where you're just being consistent and turned it into a lifestyle?
Yeah, I feel like when I started, I was definitely inexperienced in it all, especially like the fitness side, the movements and all of that. And so I started at a group training because I knew if I went to like LA Fitness or EOS to a normal gym, I wouldn't really know what to do and I wouldn't keep up with it because I wouldn't hold myself accountable. So starting at a group gym really helped me. I know some people start sometimes like with online videos and things like that, but I feel like since nobody's actually watching you, you could be doing something wrong. So if it's, you know, if it's in the bank, I feel like a personal trainer would be super helpful. And like, it's so crazy because people won't want to spend the money on like good food for you or in health and fitness, but it's like such an investment to what you're gonna run into in the future. And right now too, all the things you can learn right now that will help you throughout your journey of life. And so I really leaned onto that. And since the workouts were kind of set, I just had to show up. And with my work from home 9 to 5, I told myself, you know, you're sitting on your butt all day, show up for yourself like for 1 hour. Every morning, because I'm not really an afternoon person. After 5, I want to chill. Some people are different. Some people want to go at 8 p.m. Okay, you do you, boo.
No, like if you have to, then do what you gotta do. But no.
So the morning just ended up working out for me, and it's cool because whether you are going to a gym like you do on your own or me with the group classes, you tend to see the same people, and so it's like motivating, and also you start to make friends. and follow each other on social media and just hold yourself more accountable. So I think that, and also like how you were saying, like the newbie gains, I don't know, it like hits different when you're so new and you're so bad at everything. You start at the baby weights, I feel like you progress so quickly.
Yeah, no, you do for sure. I feel like I'm sure there's some like scientific thing that I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
But I do see it's a very common thing when people that never work out start working out.
Yeah.
They do get, like, especially if they're doing it correctly, they get the results so fast. And then it's kind of like from there, it's addiction.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. You're just like, oh, wow, like biceps popping.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like I'm going to keep going. And then you start feeling it.
Gives you motivation because you start seeing like physical results off the bat. But I think also, for my goal at the time, which was losing weight, strength training was such a good way of doing that, because as you're building muscle, it's burning the fat, and so that was just like a star like combo of everything. And with that, I started feeling better. I remember after the first workout week that I went really consistently, I was so proud of myself, and I was like, wow, I went like every day this week. And I remember getting groceries that weekend too, and even carrying them to my car felt different. I was like, wow, I'm strong, bitch. No. I was like, wow, this is what people feel like. Yeah. And so at that point too, I started understanding, like, no wonder people go every day. Like, you feel great. Maybe you're not having the best time during, maybe sometimes you're suffering, but it's just 1 hour that you give it your all, and then you get to rest and eat more throughout the day because you burn some calories, you know? And it's just like overall like a good balance. And so once I was working out, I started feeling better, and so I wanted to fuel my body better. So then that's when I started learning about food, which I loved personally.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Another thing we have to talk about is your nutrition. I think like, because working out is one thing. You show up, you do the workout, but then for sure nutrition is a big part, because you can put in all this work, and if you eat like shit,
it's not gonna show.
No.
Yeah.
And maybe you have a couple, maybe a little bit, but not to where you can get. And for sure, I feel like your nutrition did change a lot. I don't feel like you ever really ate horribly. Nothing like that, you know, because we would hang out with you and stuff like that. But I do for sure see that now you have like healthier meals, as well as on your Instagram. You know, you've been posting those meals. So they're like, you put apple nachos or something, right? You did those ones. And I was just like, oh wow, like, like it looks delicious. Yeah. I haven't made it yet, but it looks delicious. Yeah. But I'm just like, that's like how you went from that to where maybe the old you before fitness would have actually made the nachos. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, let's kind of talk about that too, is like, how did your nutrition, like, also, like, how did you get it to where it is now, and like kind of gain that knowledge and all of that? For sure. I also kind of like fitness, it's hard to know where to start, and you're not one day gonna wake up and be like, oh, I'm a chef, like, let me cook, you know, the best things for me. But I feel like you can start to pick up things here and there. I learned a lot from like Pinterest and Instagram and TikTok even. There's great like recipes people put out. And I remember thinking like, okay, I want to feel better. How can I fuel my body better to fuel my workouts and fuel me for the rest of the day? And so that's when I kind of turned more to like whole foods and things that have good fats and good protein and good carbs, because I wasn't ready, or I knew I wasn't going to have to cut out anything really. Like, I was not going to cut out bread or like pasta, because you can have everything in moderation. Like, in moderation. Sorry. No, I got it. With motivation, you come in. I'm your motivation shirt. No, for sure. And so that's when I started, you know, making grocery lists and planning out meals I could make, like, with the certain ingredients I was gonna get. Like, oh, let me get some chicken, I can do like a chicken bowl this one day, and if I prep the chicken, then tomorrow I can have it with tacos. And so that was a big key for me too. I knew I didn't want to just meal prep the same meal for 5 days. Those are the kind of things that came up on Pinterest when I would look up meal prep, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to eat the same thing I ate Monday on Friday. So that was another big key tip, was to prep the ingredients, prep a ton of veggies and meats and salads, and then you can like rotate them throughout the week, whether you're making burritos or bowls and things like that, or rotating breakfast and whatnot. And so then once I was eating better and fueling my body, I was playing around more with what snacks can I eat. And because I'm such a snacker, and that's something that I never wanted to stop, I'm not a 2 meal a day kind of person. I tend to eat like
smaller meals with snacks in between, just because some people maybe in their lifestyle they'll eat like one big breakfast and then like one big lunch, but if that works for them, that works for them. My body just like wants something more constantly, and so yeah, I'll usually just rotate throughout my favorite meals, because all your favorite meals, you can make them lower calorie and higher in volume. And so that was something that was really big for me, because I would rather eat a big bowl of berries and, you know, drizzled with a little bit of chocolate and nuts than the same thing of a little bag of hot Cheetos. So things like that, you start to see like the volume, but also the nutritional value of things. Like, okay, this donut is the same amount of calories as this oatmeal. Which one should I have in the morning? The donut sounds good, and it'll be good in the second, but it won't satiate you or keep you full till lunch, like the oatmeal would. Yeah. And the oatmeal can have protein and good healthy fats. So it was just learning that, since I had no idea of that in my mind. You kind of think like food is food, but yeah. So that was something really cool for me to learn, and I was super interested in, to see what the nutritional value can be of things, and then how do I hit my protein goal to help these muscles grow. So yeah,
but it's cool though, because it's like how you were saying, like your love for food, and you're like, I'm a snack kind of girl. You're like, I am not giving that up. No. I'm just going to like change it, you know, kind of thing. Like I'm gonna make it more nutritious. Yeah, you adapted it to what your new lifestyle you were trying to you know, start. And so I think it's funny though, because in a way, because people are like, oh, but I love food, like I can't give up food. It's like, okay, you don't have to. Like it's just
people think diets are cutting things out, and it's not.
And then it's just like, choose what's actually good. And it's just like, oh, like I can't have that that donut, right? And like we kind of talked about this before, is like, okay, you want to eat the donut, sure, eat it, but it's like, and I had mentioned to this to you, is like, instead of restricting it, it's like adding to it. So it's like, okay, take the donut. You could, an example is Greek yogurt, right? You crumble the donut in there, put other little stuff,
berries,
so then
some
you're like
protein.
Full.
Yes, for sure. That's definitely a key to it. You don't have to eat, and I don't eat amazing all the time. Sometimes I eat other foods because they're around, or, you know, I want to treat myself. But you're right, it's adding that nutritional value and seeing how can I make this better and help satiate me for longer, instead of, wow, this cookie or this donut is bad for me, so like this is all I'm gonna eat for breakfast, and I'm gonna restrict till lunch. Like that mentality sucks, because then if you're restricting, you're gonna have like drained energy, and you're just gonna be in a bad mood because you're not actually eating what you want. And the key is like enjoying what you're eating. So
and it's just like you realize it too when, if you eat the oatmeal and you can personalize it, right? You can decorate it, whatever it is.
You can switch it up.
And so it's like, when you eat that and you notice, like, especially I know if I eat it and then I go and work out, like I just feel stronger, and I'm not too full. Like I'm full, but it's like a healthy full. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like it's giving me energy for this workout.
And it's not like if I ate a whole bunch of donuts to fill me up, then you feel like, oh, like you just feel shitty, right? And that's the other thing, is like just noticing that the foods that you are eating do make a difference, like in how you're feeling and all that kind of stuff. So
no, for sure. Just because those foods that don't have as much nutritional value, sometimes it's just so crazy, because sometimes they have additive sugars, added oils, and just so many different things that are not good for the body. And we tend to overconsume those. And that's something really interesting and controversial that I found when starting my fitness journey, because I found this whole plethora of fitness food. And so then you have your protein cookies, your protein shakes, your, you know, different things like that. And some are good, but some are not. And so then you gotta see like, okay, what can I eat occasionally, but what am I not gonna have every day? Because some things just aren't that good for you to consume a lot of, like anything. But it's interesting just like noticing that and realizing like, okay, what can I fit into my diet?
And I think, and it, like we were talking about, like, you know, the friends you have around you, and I've mentioned that in previous episodes, like your environment, all that kind of stuff. And like I have mentioned this too in my episodes, like I'm working on my nutrition and trying to make it like just overall like making the healthier choices even every time you go to like eat something. And so it's nice seeing your stuff on Instagram, because then it's just like, oh, I can make this, like this looks delicious kind of thing. Which, by the way, guys, like, I'm gonna put her Instagram in the episode notes, and please follow her. I mean, great content, and we're working on that too. Like, even though hers is better than mine,
Harry.
But like, we're working on our content. But like,
that's something.
But she does a lot of. She's been doing a lot. Well, of
I'm
recipes.
very visual, so it's like naturally.
But yeah, nutrition wise, for sure. Like, you guys should check her out. Like, seeing her recipes.
Yeah, it's just for fun. Which I like you being scared to post this this podcast in your content. I was scared to post content too because I was like, okay, maybe nobody cares, but food makes me happy. I think sometimes I make unique things that people tend to not know about, or they'll think and realize like, oh, I can make this but healthier, or like have protein in it. And so like it just has way better macros for you. And I don't count calories personally. If you do, like, that's cool. But just knowing that you're fueling your body better, instead of using like butter and sugars, you can use other ingredients like coconut oil and
But no, for sure, like
Greek yogurt.
And the other thing,
that's what I had in
Greek
mind.
yogurt, dude. I have been learning that thing goes with anything.
Yeah,
like,
and cottage cheese.
Yeah, well, I haven't tried like cottage cheese with stuff,
Amazing.
But like the Greek yogurt in the wave, like I've seen people making like naan bread or whatever,
Yeah,
and they just put flour, and I'm just like,
oh yeah, or like bagels.
Yeah,
it's just flour and Greek yogurt.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, that's protein.
So it's things like that people don't really know about, and you can make a lot at home. Obviously, buying stuff is great, but I'd rather like make a banana bread at home than buy it, and it's better for you. So it's just different things like that. So if I can help one person make something out of like the 300 likes of this one post, I'd be so happy, because I'm like, I changed their life because they made it, and it's good. I'm not gonna post something that isn't. So
it's
just a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is the process, like you were saying about being scared about posting stuff. Yeah, it's just like at the end of the day, it's like doing it for you. And for you, right, when you're making the videos, it's probably therapeutic, maybe a little bit stressful if you're trying to get certain angles, right? But it's therapeutic for you. And then, like, after that, you enjoy the food. Yeah. Right? Whether somebody's watching or not, then you like, did it, you ate it, you're like, oh, you're missing out. Like, you should make it, kind of thing. So
for sure. And just how you mentioned, like, if somebody doesn't like seeing that, okay, bye. Because that's, like, the vibe I'm on. And that'll attract, like, people that do want to see that. Yeah. And so it's just like a win-win. So I'm not really like scared anymore or nervous about, oh, what is somebody gonna think about this? Because if they didn't like it and that wasn't for them,
okay, bye.
Yeah, that's fine. Like,
and it's like in a respectful way, because it's just like you're not riding the wave, you don't like the vibes, that's okay. Like other people are gonna come in, and so, but it's like keeping that in your head, because a lot of people do. They have like, oh, these people are gonna care. Like, are they gonna watch it? Like, oh, somebody didn't like this, like stuff like that, or somebody unfollowed me. But it's just like we said, everything happens for a reason. And so it's just like, if that person you get a new person, like all that kind of stuff. So it's like,
and whenever I see people post something like that, whether it's a recipe or it's they're at a coffee shop or they're doing a workout, I think that's so cool, because I'm like, wow, they're doing what they want to do, what they love. This is their passion. So even if it didn't align with my interest, I would still think, wow, that's so cool. Like the way they filmed this, the way they put together the description and the caption. So I always like support anybody that does anything like that, because it takes guts too.
No, it does. Oh my god, yeah, it does. And it's either you're going to like support that person and be like, oh, you go, or you have the people that are like judging. Like, oh my god, another influencer.
But then you don't need that negative energy in your life.
Yeah, no.
Bye. You can leave.
Like, okay.
Yeah. And so I was scared too at the beginning of, I mean, even now, I'm no food nutritionist, personal trainer, like expert, but just having that, okay, I can share this knowledge, and if I can provide anybody like some help or just something nice to look at, somebody making breakfast, like that's cool. But at the beginning too, I kind of felt like who am I to post these workout stories?
No,
like, my story, I'd be like, who am I to post this when like I don't even know?
Yeah, no, so. I totally get that emotion, and it's just kind of like, it's more of that voice, right? Because nobody's coming up to you, or DMing you, like
I haven't gotten a hate comment.
Why are you posting this? Like, this is so cringe. And even if somebody did, it's like, bye, kind of thing,
don't eat that.
But nobody is, and like I've talked about this before, it's that little voice in your head that's just like, it's not protecting you. It's just more of like projecting the fear and being like, oh, nobody's want to listen. Is the same with this podcast. And I've mentioned it multiple times. And like now, DIY setup, right? Even if somebody was like, I don't like your setup, I'd be like,
we like it.
Where's
That's
your studio?
Matters.
Do you got a podcast? You don't know what this is about.
You know, we're 10 episodes in. I don't think so, boo. Yeah, no, for sure. It's that voice in your head, just because we're like our biggest critics.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it's tough, but the key is to believe in yourself, because you can do anything you want. And like, you are like the most motivating person to anybody, but you also gotta be that for yourself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yesterday I had that moment.
Yeah.
Because I felt like a little like stressed out, or almost like my energy just felt low. And I was just like, okay, like I just need to stop thinking about things right now. I was like, I'm just gonna eat some food.
Yeah.
Watch what I want, something that kind of like makes me feel good. Because I had already gone to the gym. And like, I was like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Not think about anything, just kind of thing. Because I was like, if I right now in this moment don't take the time to like feel better, recharge myself, then when we do these kind of things, it's not gonna be. And I'm also gonna feel like bad if I'm over here trying to be like, you got it, do it, and I'm over here like, you know what I mean?
Thing. Yeah, for sure. But I feel like you've been doing great with everything, so I'm like super proud of you.
No,
like for real.
Thanks.
Yeah, because this is a big thing.
No, it is.
Yeah,
and it's so crazy because for sure, like the whole time I've been talking about this, like obviously this is like a promise to myself.
Yeah,
and it's therapeutic for me. Like I said, the beginning is whether it's one person or 5 or whatever. But, like, for sure, like, I like it so much, and I feel like it is very much in align with myself, and, like, I do like to talk about these things, and I like to, like, be like, yeah, you got this.
Yeah.
So, to be able to channel that into, like, this, and soon YouTube, where people are gonna see it, it's exciting, so... But, yeah, and I really want to, like, continue it.
Yeah.
Not only because, like, for myself, but, like, you're supporting it. Other people have been supporting it from it being, like, small.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, I'm doing it for you too.
For sure. Kind of thing, so. For you and for other people. And it's just cool because when I'm listening to your podcast, which is always like really amazing, everything you talk about, I 100% agree on. And it's good reminders. Whether you're giving somebody a new tip or a reminder, I feel like even if it doesn't have to do with the episode theme at all, like what you're doing is just like, wow, like she wanted to do that and she did it. And so that's like really motivational because there's so many people in this world who have goals and passions and want to do things, and they won't because they're scared to take that leap. But like, what can you lose?
Yeah, like you're already like, if I didn't start it, so well, like me having the idea and me not like, or me having the idea, I'm at 0.
Yeah.
So if I start it and I suck at it, there's nothing to lose. Like that's the best way to like that I view it is I'm already at 0.
Yeah.
Like. You know, yeah, you could go in the negatives, but it's like, even then it's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it's just like, you kind of have to jump for it and then just see where it goes and kind of trust yourself.
Because if not, you'll never know what could come from it.
Right? And it's the same way with you. With your, like, your fitness is like, you know, if you didn't say, hey, you know, whatever you have to say to yourself, like, I need to change. You know, you didn't set the excuses like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. You were just like, okay, I don't want to go to the gym because, you know, like a commercial gym.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to know what to do. And like you said, you already knew that you weren't going to like be accountable kind of thing, you know? Especially because starting in the gym, if you don't know, anxiety comes up.
Yeah.
You don't know what to do. You think everyone's looking at you.
Yes.
But you were just like, oh, I'm going to go to a class because it's going to be easier to like learn everything. Somebody's going to be teaching me.
Yeah.
And you won't have to worry about it. So it's like, it's good because you were setting yourself up to succeed.
Yeah.
Instead of like, you know, going towards the path you didn't know.
Just like anything, I guess kind of with the example of like me going, I didn't know anything or anyone. And so that was tough. And that I think is the most of the cases when people try to do something new because they might not know who to go to for advice, or you have to do all the learning on your own, kind of like you had to know how to do this audio and how to edit things. And so it's scary because not only is it getting out of your comfort zone, but it's learning a lot more that you don't know of. And it's that like a knowing in that having to discover. But I don't know, you could also make it a fun thing because like you said, we won't know what happens if we don't try. Yeah. And that's almost scarier to me than staying where you're at, you know? Because who wants to do that? That would be boring. And then you look at later in life or next year and you look back and think, wow, what if I would have started that?
Yeah, like,
or sometimes how things happen for a reason. If you start now, maybe this is like the perfect path that would have led for the doors to open for you to like be able to further what you're doing more, or maybe you shift directions, but just evolving.
But it opens you up to newer opportunities and stuff. Yeah, because That for sure is a good thing that you brought up because, yeah, a lot of people will stay in the same spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah.
and I kind of have already talked about this in a way of where we blame the outside factors, but it's really like, hey, I'm not pushing myself, I'm not changing. So like, let's say you with your fitness, if you would have been like, oh, right, like I'm in a relationship, that's why I'm in this position, or oh, my work has been so stressful, that's why I'm in this position. But you know, you kind of took more of that self-responsibility and you were like, I'm gonna do this. And that's how you're going to change. And you see like, oh, I'm in control. Because, like I said, people will stay right here and be like, life sucks.
Yeah.
My life sucks. And it's like, well, you're not changing. You're not trying to be different. Like, how are you supposed to have a different life? You know, if it's to be rich or successful.
It's not going to come knocking on your door.
Yeah, if you're not putting yourself in those positions, right? Like, when we've gone to... I feel like we always go to events or stuff. That is a little bit out of my comfort zone. Or we both are like...
new to what's going on.
You know, what the heck is going on. But it's like fun because it puts us in a new position to meet new people or to learn new things about ourselves. And it's just kind of fun. And then this way we kind of continue to grow and just discover more opportunities. So
yeah, for sure. Because everyone in this earth has like a life to live and they're busy. We're all doing things, family, work, how you mentioned. But that's something that I learned is like whatever you want, make it a priority. If you don't have time to work out, that's something you're telling yourself. Make it a priority. Go before work, or go after you're done with stuff at night. So it's like really crazy because that's something you have to think of mentally, because sometimes people just won't make it a priority. And so yeah, it's really important, but that's something that you have to like put at the top of your list to say, okay, I'm gonna dedicate time to this, whatever it is, and go for it.
Yeah, and like that for sure, like it transitions to or like relates to showing up for yourself, right? And we can show up for work, right? We don't say I don't have time for that. No, we show up for work. We show up to go party. We show up to go to like meet up with a friend, whether it's gonna be like beneficial for us or not. Like
family.
We make time for these things, right? And so it's like you do have.
And we're the most important person here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just like you do make time for these things. And so it's just like it's the same with the gym. And I've told people this before too. And whenever they say, oh, I don't have time for that. And it's just like, well, you're not making the time.
Yeah.
Like, what do you... And two, like, that's... I've been reading the book, The Power of One More. And they talk about time in there. It's like we have so much time. And it's just like... And you probably do it too. There's so many times where, like... You're just sitting there on your phone, right? You're sitting there watching TV. You're just sitting there probably just doing nothing, right? And so then it's like, and two, I think what factors into it is like the perfection. Like you want to be like, oh, I don't have enough time. Like I could probably only have 30 minutes to work out. It's like, that is better than nothing.
Yes.
It's like you don't need 2 hours. You don't need a whole hour. Just like go
that
and
every
do
day
it.
would make a change.
Yeah. Than to like compare to nothing.
Yeah, not just that, but if somebody wants to start a business, but they don't have time because they have a full-time job, it's kind of like, okay, make some time here and there a little bit after work or in the morning to write your priorities down and get organized. And people do it like that. That's some of the best success stories, because you hear them making it out of a job they didn't really like to like pursue their dreams because they made time for it. It didn't just come knocking on the door one day, oh, here's the opportunity of your dreams. So that's kind of cool because it kind of has to do with like manifestation. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, I really want this. You kind of have to take little steps to get there and work for it. And even you taking little steps in that direction, things will start like appearing in your path of like, oh, this makes sense, or coincidences, because it's like lining up for you.
Yeah.
If you want it bad enough.
No, yeah, for sure. So I wanted to ask, right, because we're talking about like showing up and making it a priority and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like part of that, making it a priority, comes like the discipline and the consistency. Did you always have, you know, in your life, you were a disciplined person and you had consistency? Or would you say you starting your fitness and that kind of stuff like helped you build those things?
Yeah, I would think maybe I've had consistency all my life, but no, I don't think that was the case at all. I feel like I've always been like relying on people and dependent on my mom. Like, she's a chef and she cooks amazing, and so she wouldn't really want us in the kitchen, so I would depend on her for food. And so different things like that kind of helped be the person I was. And so then at that point, I feel like it was such a me journey that I was like, I have to take this into my own hands. Nobody else is gonna wake me up every morning and say, hey Sarah, let's go to the gym. I'm the one that has to set out my clothes the night before and mentally prepare and have that motivation to get better in the gym. And once you're doing that, there's no way you can't thrive. There's no way you won't get better if you're showing up for yourself. So I think that helped a lot, just knowing like, okay, just be consistent. That's the one thing you have right now, especially at the beginning, since I was so like ground zero.
Yeah.
And so once you start seeing results, even then, you know the job's not done. Right now, I still have goals. I want to get stronger. And so I know if I don't put in the work, it's not going to get there. Kind of how we were saying. You're not going to move somewhere if you're stuck where you are.
Yeah.
So I think that's what really pushed me, just knowing I'm the only one that can do it and it's going to get done.
No, I love that, yeah.
Like, I just made it like such a priority in how you were saying my lifestyle. Because sometimes I'll be busy all day and doing things, and people will ask me like, oh, dang girl, you're going to the gym tomorrow? And if I'm not like so tired and I need rest, I'm gonna say yeah, because it's part of my lifestyle. It's not, oh, I ate so much tonight, so I need to go burn this off in the morning. No,
Yeah.
it's like, I gotta go move my body because I know it's gonna help me be in a great mood the rest of the day. And yeah, so I really, really just made it part of my lifestyle. So now it's like a non-negotiable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does for sure. And I think it does take like time, or it's just some people are just there to where they're in that state of mind. But that's really good. And I feel like it's just so interesting because I feel like I'm there sometimes, but I'm not there fully to where it's just like it's a non-negotiable kind of thing. Like it is and isn't, like in the way of like when I have my off days, I have to like, I feel like it takes so much like battle mentally. Would you like?
But that's the tough part. Those are the days that you more are like, wow, I'm glad I came. Like, I did that. And the way I see it sometimes, because I'm not motivated every time. Like I do not wake up. I do not wake up every single day and say, oh God, yeah, I can't wait to get this workout in. Can't wait to like eat this, like whatever, if I've prepped something. Like sometimes I just want to go out to eat, you know, which is fine because the balance of it all. But it's like that cheesy quote that it says, consistency over perfection and discipline over motivation, because you're not going to be motivated all the time. You're going to have off days, or you're feeling lazy, it's the weekend, you know, you went out last night, whatever it is. And so yeah, it's such a mind thing that I feel like everybody's working on, and everybody's different, because some people might not be able to go all full in the gym, or will love strength training. And so it's finding out those different ways that can help you stay consistent, whether it's playing a sport or something different, or different food groups and recipes that you like, because just not everything works the same for everybody. But yeah, I think just knowing that not every day is gonna be perfect, but as long as you put in the effort, you'll be happy about it. Yeah.
And like, do you, when you have like the off days, because right now you said you're not always that motivated, is there anything that you, because I've talked about this in previous episodes of what I'll do to kind of get myself like going, put myself in that, do you ever face those days? And if you do, like, how do you approach it?
Yeah, I'm a very like preparing person. I'll set up my clothes the night before, and I'll think, okay, like get excited, I'm gonna have this for breakfast after I come back from working out. Or like, since I go to my group classes, I'll check in the app who's going to class. And so that way I'll get prepared and be like, okay, let me wear like a really cute outfit, let me get excited to go. Or I sometimes treat myself to coffee after going to
so you're like
the
looking
class.
forward.
Yeah, so it's just like fun little ways that you can like reward yourself, because it is hard going sometimes, and sometimes you forget about those little wins of like, wow, like I did that and I didn't want to. So it's nice taking a step back and almost patting yourself in the back for it, because you know you're a better person for it.
Yeah, no, that's for sure good. And like, I wanted to touch back based on how you were talking about it's a non-negotiable thing. When you were starting your journey, and now that it's very much so a lifestyle for you, have you ever been misunderstood by the people around you? Whenever, you know, like they invited you to do something and you're like, no, or I know, like, we used to go out more, right? In the way of, like, when we'd go out, we'd drink more. But now it's kind of a different vibe. So is there people around you that do misunderstand you?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like everyone will always have that, just because, honestly, some people don't have the best of intentions, and it's almost a blessing in disguise, because then you really see, like, who cares about you, who wants to see you thrive, who is jealous because they wouldn't be able to do what you're doing, but, like, anybody can. It's just the dedication that it takes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I definitely would have, like, comments here and there. You find out who, like, your true friends are, or, like, me delving into this world of health and fitness, I feel like helped our bond get stronger because we had that more common interest. And so it's really interesting seeing how you can grow into a better person of yourself and who that attracts and who wants to be with you and grow with you, or just see your process.
Yeah, and who kind of cheers for you.
Yeah, for sure, because some people aren't going to be as motivated as you, or they might judge you if they're like, oh, let's go out to dinner Friday, let's get tacos and margaritas, and then go out and drink all night. But if you know that balance is good, but maybe right now that wouldn't help your goal and where you want to be, and you know it's okay saying no if they weren't going to take that lightly, or they were going to be mad at you, like, that's their fault, because anybody should be understanding of your journey and what your goals are, whether it's health and fitness or something else. Everybody should always be, like, supportive of each other. Or you know, did that friend then say, okay, no problem, let's order in something healthy and have a movie night, or did they, like, blow me off because they were like, wow, okay, don't come then, you know? So it's just, like, seeing how that can change and how different people play a part in your life.
Yeah. No, for sure. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So I have some people who listen to this podcast. They have, I guess, you know, a rough time with staying consistent in the gym, or sometimes they won't because of their significant other, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I know when you were starting yours, and you can talk about this if you want to or not, but when you were starting yours, like, neither one of you, you know, you and your significant other, were both into, like, you know, the whole fitness world kind of thing. And so it's like, how did that play out? Like, was he, you know, if you want to touch base, was he fully supportive, or were there days where you're just like, oh no, like, I have to go, like, I'm going, you know, this is what I'm trying to work on?
Yeah, for sure. So my significant other is my fiance, Kane.
Ooh,
keep it getting married. Yeah, I feel like I was super lucky because, I mean, not even lucky, this should be normal behavior. He was fully supportive from the start. He was like, you do you, boo. Like, you wake up early and you do those things if you want to do them. And so he was supportive of that when I was, you know, going to the gym and doing these things. If I wake him up in the morning, he would, like, go back to sleep. He wouldn't, you know, get mad, like, wow, why are you waking up so early, or things like that. And so that helped a lot, because he wasn't, like, a super push for me. He was just like, you do whatever you want, and if it's right for you, keep going, you know? And so I was like, okay, yeah, like, I gotta do this. Like, I gotta do this on my own because it's my journey. And so at the time, he wasn't working out either, but he didn't have the best nutrition as he does now. And so I think he could kind of get away with it, even though he was also having, like, stomach problems. But for me, I was gaining weight because I was inactive and then I was eating bad. And he was, like, not really eating and not inactive. So we both had shit lifestyles, and we're both always feeling like, eh. And so I started working out and feeling good, and, you know, look at my muscle, like, damn, like, I gotta get my protein, like, just those newbie things. And this was really cool because it inspired him to start working out and start eating better. And that's something that I think about that is so awesome, because he's a guy, I'm a girl. I was trying to lose weight, and at this point then he was trying to gain weight. He's like 6'2" and was, like, super skinny, noodly orange. Don't tell me I said that. And so, you know, he was like, oh, I remember in high school, like, I, you know, was more buff because we would go to weight training class, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, then go back to the gym if it feels right, no pressure, and, you know, get fit, eat better, fuel those muscles. And so in that way too, I was never like, oh, look at me, I'm working out and you're not. Like, no, I never said that, because you can't really push somebody until they want to do it for themselves.
Yeah.
Like, even if I told him every day, hey, go to the gym, and if he didn't really have that mindset, then he wouldn't really be inclined to.
Yeah.
So now we both like work out. We work out separately because he has a gym at his job, and I go to my group classes. But you know, it's just that like healthy lifestyle and like lifting each other up, or let's go to this restaurant, they have an amazing like protein dish, or you know, different things like that.
Yeah.
Or he buys protein shakes all the time, so he shares them with me, or we'll meal prep together. So it's really cool seeing from where we were 2 years ago in that same sort of like lazy aspect and like unhealthy eating to now fueling our bodies and hey, how's your workout, like genuinely caring. Or he has a split kind of like you do, so I'll be like, what'd you work out today, like was it busy, you know, things like that. So it's really cool because it's that kind of like shared interest, and when you talk about it, you get to support each other.
It's really cool because like, you know, if your significant other, like if he had made, let's say, fun of you, or if he would have not been supportive of it, or that kind of thing, or if like instead he was motivated by it, right? And he was like, oh, I'm gonna start going. And it's really cool to see that was like how it went, and it helped both of you, you know, kind of thing. It's so cool, like you were saying, because like imagine maybe if you would have never started, neither one of you would be like where you are now, or maybe he could have started and then you would have got there. But it's so cool to see how like that small little thing that was about you helped like another person that's around you to be like, okay.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that also helped my like, I think I consider myself like lucky having gone through the nutrition and fitness that I did, the journey, because I wasn't really ever toxic about it. And I feel like if he would have, you know, been like judging me like, wow, you're going to the gym a lot, or you're eating all that, or like have been like, you didn't go today, like what are you doing, I feel like that would have maybe like affected my mental health, or you know, then I would have been like, oh, now I have to go, or you know, things like that. So yeah, I'm definitely very grateful that he was never like negative in that way. But like I said, I feel like this should be normal behavior for anybody. If anybody's trying to improve, nobody should ever judge that, especially your significant other that you care about so much. So I don't know, that's definitely something to like look into if you have a significant other that isn't supportive or is judging you, or kind of like how Kane adapted to this healthy lifestyle I was integrating. Maybe at some point it wouldn't have been enough if like I would have been so into this and he wouldn't have cared at all. Like, I don't want to be with somebody that doesn't care to fuel their body or not even the physical aspect of working out, but like you're getting fit, you're getting muscular, you're getting healthy for your future kids, for how they see you. I see quotes all the time now that are like, you know, you having a routine and you putting in time for yourself, your kids will see that and they'll think that's normal behavior, which should be, because now it's so rare to have something like that. So that's definitely important to me. So if that's like important to somebody else, or you know, not even the down the road thing, but just right now what you're doing and you're trying to get better, if anybody's getting in the way of that, I don't know, they can step aside, because
it's like either hop on or
yes
kind of thing.
Because what, you're gonna delay like your well-being and how great you could be because of what somebody else is saying. You wouldn't do that if it was like a random person. So it hurts more if it's somebody close to you, like a family member or things like that, but they'll come around. You just gotta like work on yourself, and even if that takes you being like soloed for a bit to take time for yourself, I don't know, it's kind of crazy, because then you evolving, you could become like a totally different evolved person than what you were, and sometimes people can't grow together. So then they're like, wow, I missed the person you were, but you didn't want to be that person anymore. So it's really interesting seeing how that could change, and that's normal, that's life. People outgrow each other, and sometimes people don't want to grow with you or do something else. But
that's really good. Because like I said, I have some people that
it's
are
hard,
kind of like that, and it is hard. And like you said, I think too, if somebody really, if they're your significant other, they really do love you and they have those feelings for you and all that kind of stuff, and they wish the best for you, they're gonna, either if they don't want to join, that's fine, you know, because everybody has to do it when they want to, but it's like being supportive and being like, okay, do it, you got this, go get it, kind of thing.
They should want to see the best of you, and if you're happy too, they should be supporting that, because who's to say, like, if they're not supportive of this, what else would they not be supportive? You're trying to start a business, why aren't they supporting that, you know? It's all to like benefit them if you're healthier, if you're happier, if you have more money, like, you're growing together, you're thriving. And so I never really understood that when people don't really, especially in couples, aren't really supportive of each other in that way. It's kind of like, okay, what is that other person, like, not understanding, like, maybe jealous of because they're not able to be consistent in the gym or get up early? Like, it's something they need to work on. And sometimes there's things like that because somebody needs to work on themselves a certain way, and they're leaning on somebody else, but you gotta do your own thing.
Yeah. And it's probably a good, and like we said, and I'm gonna say it multiple times, but like, everything happens for a reason, right? Yeah. And it's just like, if you working out and you getting better ends up causing you to outgrow this person and separate ways, then it happened for a reason, even though it will be painful and it is hurtful and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it happens for a reason.
Yeah. I'd rather be thriving and like growing better and wow, you know, I'm feeling better, my energy, my vibe, like, then you attract better, because then you're staying in that, if you don't, then you're staying in that not growing and that negative like void, and you don't really want to stay there, and you don't grow from that, and it's miserable. So yeah, it's hard just because I've had friends being there and not wanting something different because it's scary. You don't know, it's the unknowing, but I don't know, it always works out for a reason.
Yeah, and it's just so hard, like we've said, it's so hard to see that when it is happening, because I have heard the people that are just like, no, not everything happens for a reason kind of thing, and it's like, okay, I get it, like, you know, not everyone's gonna have the same mentality, but it's just like, the people that do feel that way is because they've gone through so many times of like things happening, and they're just like, oh wow, it does work out for this. I, you know, was given this new opportunity, all that kind of stuff. So
so you're just gonna believe
honestly,
good and be positive, and like, things will most often than not turn out, and if not, it's teaching you something and you grow from that.
No, for sure. Is there anything else that, you know, you'd want to share? Is there something that we didn't talk about that you feel like is important for you to talk about?
I'm not sure. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
Which was good.
Yeah. Would you want to share any of your like goals that you have for yourself as of right now for this year?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I'm in such a like self-discovery phase. I feel like my goals have changed, and what I want for in the gym, I definitely want to get stronger. It's not about losing weight anymore. It's about, okay, let's build muscle.
She's doing her push-ups, guys.
Let's do
this
PRs.
Is the friend.
Yeah,
this is the friend I was talking about that just dropped down and did push-ups.
Okay, well, there's a contest. I'm gonna do it.
No, okay, yeah, there's a contest, but like, imagine you're in a store and this girl just,
like, you can't be embarrassed.
No, I know, right? And that
nobody knows you. Randos all around.
I know. That's what I'm working on mentally, being like, okay, who cares? Yeah. But imagine you're with a friend and they just drop down, start doing push-ups. It's like cool because I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. Like, she's doing the push-ups. I'm like, yeah, that's my friend. But I'm also like, okay,
I don't know her.
Are they done?
Yeah, no, like, it's cool. Just because for push-ups, I wasn't able to do one for years. It took me like a year and a half to be able to do one on the ground. So it's just cool seeing how you get stronger, and I would have never built up to that if I wasn't consistent. But yeah, I feel like everything in my life has just like led up to where I am, and it's kind of crazy because like, I feel like 2 years ago me would have never thought like this would be me now, you know, if I saw myself or something of what I'm doing or how outgoing I'm being or whatever, I would be like, wow, like I committed, and like now I am seeing like the benefits.
Yeah, and that's like the vibe that I've talked about from the beginning about the podcast, is it's like doing the things, like chasing after your goals and actually being consistent, disciplined, to where like either the year ends or more years, like, you know, continue, and you look back and you're like, damn, I did it. And that's why, for sure, like I said, it's important. Like, I feel like having you to kind of start this for first guest, because you sure did like do that kind of thing. You execute, and it's so crazy, right? I mean, everybody has their fitness journeys, but I think for sure, like, when you first started like talking about it, it was like, okay, cool, like, I did not so much like I didn't have doubts, but I know how it is when you first start.
Yeah.
If you don't have
you get discouraged because you're not good at anything.
Yeah, or it's like you don't know, it's like a bumpy ride, and it's like either this person's gonna hold on and see it through, or they're gonna kind of fall off and then get back on, right? Because that happens and that's fine. But it's so crazy and it's so cool to just see overall, like, not only physically but mentally, like how much you have changed. And it's motivating.
Yeah,
and
thanks.
It's so cool.
Yeah, you motivate me too. Just like the grind, and like if you want something, like do it. Because we were talking about this the other day. There's like no perfect time to start.
Yeah, no.
Like even when I started my fitness journey, I was actually like moving that weekend, and I had like gotten a new car. So everything was like inconvenient.
Yeah.
But I was like, I had signed up and I said I was gonna show up the first day I did or whatever. And if I hadn't already like made an appointment, I would have probably like pushed it, you know. But at that point, I was more scared of like, we reschedule or whatever, you know.
You're like, I don't want to cancel.
I don't want to be inconvenient.
Yeah.
So it's never like a perfect time to start anything. So just starting wherever you're at, everything will meet you there, and then you'll grow from there, no matter what. If you put in the time into it. So it's like your podcast.
Yeah, no, that was for sure like interesting, because I was like, I just have to start. Yeah. I was like, whether I have state of art or not, like this, right? Obviously, I would love to have 2 mics, but I'm like, I'm gonna start with my resources.
Yes.
And it's more of a way too, like, if I'm trying to be motivational or help somebody understand that, like, if I'm doing it, they can do it too.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna work with what I have, and I'm not, because sometimes what happens is like, you listen to these podcasts, and no shame to them, right? Because they're at a different stage in their life, but they'll have state of art things, and they'll be like, just start, right? They're like, just do it, go buy the mic, go do this. But it's like, they don't understand that sometimes some people, like, financially you can't do it.
Yeah.
Or like,
or you're still doing research of like, what do you even get? Yeah.
So it's just like, at least it's just, that's the kind of vibe that I try to send with anything, is just like, I don't have a studio. This is my studio though, and I'm proud to say it's my studio because it's like falling in love with the process. Because right now I'll think like all of this that I'm doing, I'll be like, oh my god, guys, I have my own studio.
You look back on it and you'll have your own studio.
Yeah, and then you'll be so grateful for like when you do have that thing, right? Or when I do have a studio. Yeah. And then I'll be like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, this is so cool. Like, I remember when I just had this, like, kind of thing, So it's really cool. But
we're constantly growing, doing, like, the things we want to do. So if there's anything you want to do, start now.
Yeah.
You won't regret it.
She did it, you can do it.
And she did it, you can do it.
Like, we can all do it. We can all thrive. There's enough space.
Yeah, literally, that's the thing, too. Like, anybody can do whatever they want, because there's not enough of it. Like, we all need more passion in this life. There's so many people that are just, like, lazy nowadays, so it's cool seeing, like, when somebody wants something to, like, actually go get it.
And it's like, right, if you start posting, you're posting more on social, you could be like, oh, there's so many people who post recipes, right? I could be like, oh, there's so many podcasts out there, so it doesn't matter. Not everyone's you. Not everyone's me.
We have different styles, and even if you were to talk about the same topic as somebody else in a podcast, you have different experiences. And different,
and everyone's gonna tell the story differently. Yeah. And two, it's just like, if you want to be rich, you're not gonna be like, oh my god, there's so many rich people. Like, no, you're gonna go after it. More. Or it's like, clothing. Like, how many of us have the same exact pair of shoes or same exact fucking leggings, like all that kind of stuff. You're not gonna be like, oh, but those people already have it, so I'm not gonna get it. So it's kind of like, no,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. There's enough. There's enough. But so I think one more thing to to finish it off. Is there a message or something that you want to leave with the listeners?
I guess going off of the do whatever you want to do because, you'll thrive. Don't care about what anybody thinks. Like, it's so simple, but I think that's, like, the main thing for me. When I started working out and doing all the things I was doing, I was so scared because I cared so much what other people thought. But it's really what you think about yourself. Because if somebody tells you, like, oh, that outfit doesn't look good on you, or, like, I don't know, you're ugly, like, whatever they say, and no one's gonna say that to you, but, like, if somebody said something, it's not true unless you believe it. It's not true unless you believe it. And that's something that helped me. Like, my confidence has gone up, not because of losing the weight or different aspects like that, but because of, like, the confidence I have in myself because I knew I could do it pushing the workouts, because I started running and now we run races, you know, things like that. And so it's all mental, like literally. So I think, yeah, just it kind of going off of your episodes too, like do what you want to do because only what you think matters and the intentions you set, and yeah, just be yourself.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this is the end of this episode 10 with the first guest.
Yeah.
The first film. I'm so excited. Thank you guys for always, you know, showing up and, you know, just appreciating, and I try to work hard for this kind of stuff. And I hope you enjoyed the guest. Like I said, her Instagram is going to be, I'm going to put it in the episode notes or at the bottom of
And
this
follow
video.
Evelyn and keep her accountable to keep posting, please.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it, but
Growth.
yeah, so thank you so much.
Yeah,
I really
thank
like this. I
you.
think it was great. It was a great start.
Thank you for having me on. Like, this is such an honor.
Thanks. But guys, until next time, and remember, everything happens for a reason.
Never up, never down, never. Like a theme in a song, clever.